Okay, sharing my screen with all of you. Again, a very good morning to all the students who have joined it. This is going to be the foundation stone for the second module of yours. Let's try to understand conceptually first that why there is a need of this module, what we are going to do in this module, how we are going to do this, what is the framework of this module, and then we will move to the each and every minute aspects of it. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, so let me start it without wasting too much of time. The second module is all about pricing of securities. Now, as far as the securities are concerned, we are right now into the shares, and then we will move to some other securities. Now, why there is need of pricing any securities? What do we first understand by the pricing, if you can tell me? What is the pricing? When I say I am pricing some security, what I am doing? Yes, my question to all. Unmute yourself and let me know. I think my question is not understood yet. My question is to all the students who are listening to me. What do we understand by the pricing here?
Means true value of the security, finding true value.
Right? Finding true value of the security. Why there is need of finding any true value or fair value of the security? Why there is any need of doing that? Price is anyway derived by the market forces, right? Demand and supply forces. So if the securities are traded in the public, in that case it is anyway going to be derived by the market forces only. So why there is any need for specially pricing any security? In that case where securities are not traded only, in that case it is understood that we need some fair value mechanism to know that what is that valuation of that security. So at what point of time it should be purchased, at what price it should not be purchased, so everything we can get to know when that security is not listed in the stock exchanges. But if it is listed and it is derived by the market forces only, then why there is any need for doing any such kind of a pricing? And what objective we are going to achieve by doing this pricing, if you can guess a bit? Your answer is perfectly right, that pricing is something which is finding the fair value of any security. But my next question now is that why there is a need of doing this? What you will achieve by doing this valuation of securities? Practically speaking, I'm not stating those complicated objectives and all such sort of a things. I'm thinking from the perspective of an investor, because I feel at one or someday you will also be an investor in whatever the business profession you will be joining. At one day you will be an investor, so you should be aware that what is the exact valuation of those stocks. So how it will help you? First, it will help you to know that whether the price which is there in the market, or whether the price which is quoted to you for that, whether that is undervalued or overvalued. So whatever the price which has been quoted, whether it is undervalued or overvalued. Accordingly, you take the decision, no? Because in market, तो many people trade Chagan Lal, Magal Lal kind of a thing, Chintu Mintu, Bholu Golu, all such sort of a people starts trading in the market. और उसमें तो स्पेकुलेशंस बढ़ता है, तो वो तो छगन लाल मगन लाल किसी प्राइसेस को बढ़ा देंगे आसमान पे। और कभी स्पेकुलेशंस आता है कि कोई नेगेटिव खबर, रूमर्स फैल जाती है, तो बिना कुछ सोचे, बिना बिना कुछ जाने, कुछ भी किए बिना वो तो सेल करने शुरू कर देते हैं, किसी और के ओपिनियन को लिए बिना। सो ये लोग जो होते हैं भोलू गोलू छगललाल मगललाल काइंड ऑफ पीपल, वो तो सेल करना शुरू कर देंगे, तो प्राइसेस कई बार एकदम से कम हो जाएगी। सो व्हाट हैपेंस दैट whatever the price which is derived by the demand and supply forces over a period of time, whether it is undervalued stock or overvalued stock, that you come to know by doing your own valuation analysis. Now that is useful when one company is taking over another company, when two companies are getting merged, when they want to exchange their equity shares, in every such sort of a circumstances, this valuation of securities pricing is going to be extremely useful. Okay, so as far as the equity pricing is concerned, there are two thoughts of school. One sort of professors believe that dividend is something which matters a lot as far as pricing of any shares is concerned. So their valuation models, mathematical models which they have developed, they are entirely based on dividend payout ratio, how you pay the dividend, what amount you will pay as a dividend, what amount you will not pay as a dividend. So their entire modeling is revolving around the dividend. So that means they are thinking that dividend is the most relevant factor as far as the pricing of security is concerned. So that was the one sort of a people, professors, who developed such relevant models. So if I start drawing the chart, no, if I start giving you the very brief overview of this entire chapter, then pricing, or I can call a valuation of shares, are having two schools of thoughts. One is dividend is relevant, and one is dividend is irrelevant. Okay. Now, some of the professors are believing that dividend is something which affects the valuation of the shares, and their mathematical modeling based on the historical trends that they established from the, because the mathematical modeling was not developed हवे में, ऐसे सोते सोते मन किया यश भाई को कि चलो उठ के आज मॉडल बना देते, तो वैसे नहीं होता ना बेटा। पास्ट का n नंबर ऑफ इयर्स का डेटा उन लोगों ने 1000 नंबर ऑफ कंपनीज का स्टडी किया होगा, उसके बाद में वो कुछ मॉडलिंग पे पहुंचे हैं। सो एवरी मॉडलिंग is been done by applying the hell lot of critical analysis, and after that those models were developed. So when I say dividend is relevant, the first model which we come to know is the traditional model. Traditional model. Now what do we understand by this traditional model? Some of the people call it as Graham and Dodd model too. Now Graham and Dodd model works in a manner that dividend we pay, that matters more than the retained earnings. Now I will come to that. What is the dividend? What is the retained earnings? I am not going into very technical aspects of it right now. Then there is a second one, that is Mr. Walter's model. Then there is a third one, who is Mr. Gordon. So that was regarded as the Gordon's model. Okay. And there is a one school of thought which says that dividend really doesn't matter as far as the valuation of security is concerned, because they are presenting some or other sort of an arguments that why dividend does not matter in a longer period of time. So whatever the amount of dividend which you are giving really does not matter as far as the valuation of the shares are concerned. Their approach is based on arbitrage. We will go to that. So that is Modigliani, Miller model. Okay, again, this is not over yet. There are various other models too. I will come to that. Now let's try to understand the basic terms before I go into the nitty gritties of this model, else you will not be able to understand those models over there. Okay, first is the dividend, or we can call it the EPS, earning per share. Now, how do we find the earning per share? Earning per share is nothing but net income of any company divided by number of equity shares. Now, some of the students would be like, sir, what is the meaning of this net income? Net income is nothing but profit after tax minus preference dividend. So in other language, we can call it net income is equal to the earning available to the equity shareholders, right? So EPS stands for the earning per share. Why it is earning per share? Because it is divided by the number of equity shares. That's why it is the earning per share. And net income is something which is left to the equity shareholders after making the payments to the preference dividend. So whatever the amount profit after tax we have, from that if we pay to the preference shares, then whatever the amount which is left is called as the earning available to equity, or in another language we can call it net income available to equity shareholders. Now please try to understand, dividend is not something which is an expense for the company. Dividend is the appropriation of the profits. No company can claim that dividend is the expense, because it's not an expense only. अगर सागर भाई साहब को अपनी कंपनी में से कुछ पैसा लेना है, तो अपनी कंपनी में से अगर वो कुछ पैसे लेते हैं, तो क्या वो एक्सपेंस चार्ज करेंगे वहां पे? नहीं। अगर वो पार्टनरशिप में है, सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप में है, तो उसे वो ड्रॉइंग्स कहते हैं। क्या कहते हैं? ड्रॉइंग्स। इट इज नॉट एन एक्सपेंस. So if the owner of the business himself takes any money out of the business for his personal purposes, then it is not called as the expense, because there is absolutely no expense incurred. It is just the appropriation of the profits. So this dividend is to be taken out from the profit after tax. So what do we understand by the profit after tax? Once the profit you get after paying the taxes to the government, so anything which is left for the company now, from that the dividend is to be distributed. So dividend is not something which is a tax deductible expense. I hope it is clear to everyone. Till now, if you have any queries or doubt in understanding this, please let me know, because this is going to be the base and foundation for the second module. Please, everyone. Any queries? Anything where you require a bit of understanding in a more detailed manner? Okay, thank you very much.
No, sir.
Okay, so that comes the earning per share. Now, earning per share, why it is per share? Because it is divided by the number of equity shares. Now, company is not obliged to pay the dividend to the equity shareholders, right? Because dividend is not something which is the fixed obligation on the company. It is not something which company will have to pay in any circumstances at any cost. No, it is not a fixed obligation. Company may pay the dividend, company may not pay the dividend. So whatever the earning per share which is available to the company can be bifurcated into two parts. One is actual dividend per share, and another one is the retained earnings. From the EPS, company may pay the dividend, company may not pay the dividend. So whatever the amount which is left to the company after making the payment to the dividend is called the retained earnings. Say if 10 rupees is the earning per share and 5 rupees is the dividend per share, right? So 5 rupees is dividend per share. So obviously remaining 5 rupees is nothing but retained earning. Okay, let's take another example. Say if 6 rupees is the dividend per share, that means retained earning would be 4 rupees per share. So how the dividend payout ratio will be looking like? How do we calculate the dividend payout ratio from this? So dividend payout ratio is nothing but the dividend per share divided by EPS. So dividend per share is say 6 and EPS is 10. So dividend payout ratio is 0.6. And in percentage terms, we can call it 60%. I hope it is absolutely clear. So this is called dividend payout ratio. And why I am clarifying this? Because there will be a need of dividend payout ratio, retained earning per share, dividend per share in those models that we are going to discuss right now. What is the argument behind those models? What they have thought? What is their exact thought process behind valuing those shares? So that is based on this sort of a things. Till now, any queries or questions in understanding anything from my side? Keep giving me the confirmation by unmuting yourself so that I can let me you I can move ahead. All of you. Ashwini, is it clear? Bhavya, Chitra, unmute yourself and let me know. Vidya. Okay. Now, once you identify that what is the dividend per share and retained earning, then we may move to some of the models of dividend. Now, as I have already said, these are the people who believes that dividend matters a lot. Dividend payout ratio matters, right? Now, traditional model is something which gives more weight to dividend as compared to retained earnings, as compared to retained earnings. So what do we understand by that? That means for them what is more important is the dividend amount which the equity shareholders are receiving. Retained earnings is not something which is very important for the equity shareholders. So that is their argument. So that's why they give more weight to the dividend as compared to the retained earnings. So that we will come to know the mathematical modeling based on that. Now this Walter model is based on two variables. Number one variable is the dividend payout ratio. Another variable is the relationship between KE, that is the cost of equity, and R, that is the rate of return of investment by the company. So if you consider these two factors, no, then Walter's model can be established. No need to worry, I will come to that. How this matters, how this mathematical models are developed, I will come to know that. We will get to know. Then Gordon's model is based on discounting the future earning. So whatever the earning which equity shareholders are doing, let's find the present value of those earnings, and the present value is nothing but the value of those shares. So that is the argument made by the Gordon. I will come to that modeling. But what you should understand right now, that what is their fundamental argument behind this. Okay. Now Modigliani Miller approach says that dividend does not affect the market price of equity shareholders in a long term basis. The valuation of the company will remain same whether you pay the dividend or you don't pay the dividend, and that is based on the arbitrage effect. Arbitrage effect. Now I will come to know that what is that arbitrage effect, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको एकदम मैं clear picture कर रहा हूँ in a broader manner, because these things you have studied, these things might have come to you in some random fashion. In some of the things you might have understood Walter Gordon in corporate finance, but your entire chart is not very clear about this, right? Now to find, this pricing, we would be requiring the cost of equity as well, that is the KE. Now there are two ways of looking at the cost of equity. One way is from the perspective of the company, another way is from the perspective of the investor. When you think from the perspective of the company, that is a cost for the company, and when you think from the perspective of the investor, it is the expectation rate, expectation of shareholders. For company, KE is the cost. For investor, it is the expectations from that particular shares. Okay. Now, how can we find the expectations of the shareholders that will ultimately become the cost for the company? And why it is the cost for the company? Because if you say that dividend needs to be paid by the company to the shareholder, so what is that dividend? Dividend is a cost for the company, right? So whatever the sources of finance which they have collected, whether it is equity shares or preference shares or loans or borrowings or any such sort of a thing, they are supposed to pay some or other sort of a things on those sources of finance. So what they are supposed to pay? So in equity, first you try to identify that what is the expectations of the shareholders, and accordingly you find the KE. Now to find the expectations of the shareholders, my dear fellas and fellies, there are again various models. First model is the CAPM model. We can call it a capital asset pricing model. That is to find the KE. Another model is the Gordon's model, or in another terminology we can call it dividend yield model. Then third one is the long term bond yield approach, and the fourth one is the earning growth approach. Now some of the students would be like, sir, what are these fancy names we are coming across for the very first time for this such sort of names? Okay beta, no need to worry, we are going to go that, but first I need to clear the entire picture of, see, जब वो आसमान में से परिंदा उड़ के आता है तो कैसे आता है, धीरे धीरे डिटेल में जाता है, तो पहले बर्ड्स आई व्यू लेना होता है नीचे की चीजों का। तो हम आसमान में से ऐसे नीचे 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 जा रहे हैं, तो हम पहले क्या देखते हैं, सिर्फ ग्राउंड देखते हैं, फिर ग्राउंड के अंदर कितने पेड़ है, कितने ये सारी चीजें वो थोड़ा सा और नीचे जाएंगे तो मालूम पड़ेगी, लेकिन पहले ग्राउंड देखना जरूरी है। अगर ग्राउंड नहीं देखोगे ना तो क्या होगा प्रॉब्लम, नीचे से ऊपर नहीं जा सकते, पहले ऊपर होते हैं हम, फिर वहां से नीचे आना होता है, तो एक बर्ड्स आई व्यू देना जरूरी है। तो मैं आपको बर्ड्स आई व्यू इसलिए दे रहा हूं क्योंकि ये जो नाम आपने सुने हैं वो आपको मालूम नहीं है कि आपको कहाँ पे यूज करने हैं, मुझे मालूम है। मुझे ये मालूम है कि बच्चों को ये नहीं मालूम है कि कौन सी चीजें कहाँ पे किसके लिए यूज होती है। आपने प्रैक्टिकल्स हम सॉल्व करने के लिए अभी तक तो कर लिए होंगे और आपने मार्क्स भी ले लिए होंगे, लेकिन उसका एग्जैक्ट प्रैक्टिकल रिलेवेंस क्या है, क्यों वो जरूरत पड़ती है, कौन सी वाली चीज के अंदर उसकी जरूरत पड़ती है, वो कॉन्सेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग जरूरी है, बर्ड्स आई व्यू लेना जरूरी है, देन वी कैन गो टू द माइन्यूट डिटेल्स ऑफ इट। ओके, देन वन मोर way to find the cost of equity is the arbitrage pricing theory. Okay, so these are the various ways from where we can identify the expectations of the equity shareholders, and these every models are mathematical models and they are based on some arguments and logic. We will go to that. So that is nothing but you can find the KE from that. And why KE is important? Because here while finding the price of the shares, no, this KE would be important for you because over there would be a requirement of the cost of equity. In Walter's model, there is a cost of equity required. In Gordon's model, there is a cost of equity required. In Modi-Gilani Miller model, the cost of equity is required. But how you will find the cost of equity? There are fundamental conceptual understandings about the various models in the cost of equity too. That also needs to be sought, right? Okay. Now, no other model has specified that how the dividend per share will be counted. So they were, that was little bit arbitrary in nature, that everyone was giving the dividend as per, whatever the amount which was suiting as per the modeling which they have done. But there was no specific scientific model built for what shall be the exact dividend per share. See, here I have said that from 10 rupees, if you check this example, 10 rupees is the EPS, dividend per share is the 5, and retained earning is coming at 5. But how did we get this 5? That is the dividend per share. Do we have any model for that? What shall be the exact per share amount of dividend? No such model was developed for finding the exact dividend per share. So Mr. Linter came to the rescue, and Mr. Linter said that I am giving you one more model. So that is called as Linter's model, which gives you the exact dividend per share. So wherever the dividend per share would be required, no, in these mathematical models, Walter per share, dividend per share. अभी तक आपने क्या किया था मैं आपको बताऊं, अभी तक आपको डिविडेंड पर शेयर दिया हुआ था, अभी तक आपको बताया हुआ था कि इतना डिविडेंड पे आउट रेशियो है, तो आपको डिविडेंड पर शेयर फाइंड करना है और आप वोल्टर्स के हिसाब से उसका प्राइस फाइंड कर लो. लेकिन मेरे भाई, वो डिविडेंड पर शेयर तूने कैसे निकाला? हवा में से ज्ञान हुआ? किधर से ज्ञान हुआ? वो डिविडेंड पे आउट रेशियो तुमने कैसे निकाल दिया? ऐसे मजा आ रहा था कि ये चल भाई इस बार 40% पे कर देते हैं, चल भाई इस पर 50% पे कर देते हैं. तो ऐसे मजे आते आते हम बोल नहीं सकते, उसके पीछे भी कुछ लॉजिक होना चाहिए, सम डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए. सो लिंटर भाई साहब ने उसकी एक साइंटिफिक सिस्टमेटिक थियोरी दी. उन्होंने बताया कि दिस इज हाउ यू शुड कैलकुलेट द डिविडेंड पर शेयर. एंड लिंटर्स मॉडल इज ऑल्सो वेरी फेमस मॉडल, that was built by studying the various public organizations of public companies of United States of America. He was the person who went to those companies. He established that how these dividends are being paid. He tried to understand that what is the exact behavior and philosophy which is working behind dividend per share. And accordingly, he tried to frame one mathematical model to find the exact value of dividend per share. So this is how my brief overview, bird's eye view looks like. Please try to understand. If anyone wants to take a snap of it, they can. I'm going to repeat this entirely in a rapid fire manner for upcoming 4 minutes. Why I want this to understand from the bird's eye view, as I've already clarified, that one must have the bird's eye view first, and then we can go to the minute details. Once you know that why you are doing this, then I can go into that what we are going to do. Why तो पहले क्लियर होना चाहिए, हमें ऐसा क्यों करना है. कई बार बच्चे कर लेते हैं, सम्स का आंसर भी आ जाता है, फिर मालूम पड़ता है सर लेकिन ये किया क्यों हमने. तो किया क्यों वो क्वेश्चन ना आया ना, इसीलिए मैं दे रहा हूं अंडरस्टैंडिंग पूरी. ओके. Shall I do the rapid fire revision, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so first thing is the earning per share. How do we find the earning per share? Net income divided by number of equity shares. right? Net income, what do we understand by the net income? That is profit after tax minus preference dividend. So whatever the dividend which is belonging to the preference shares, first give it to them, and now whatever the amount which is available is nothing but the amount available to the equity shareholders, or we can say earning available to the equity shareholders. So we get earning per share. In earning per share, the dividend may be distributed, dividend may not be distributed. So whatever the amount which is distributed as a dividend will be obviously called as dividend per share, and the amount which is kept aside by the company and not distributed to the equity shareholders, it is regarded as the retained earnings. Now, how do we find this dividend per share? Do we have any mathematical model for that? Yes, Mr. Linter tried to develop one mathematical model which gives you the exact amount of dividend which shall be paid by the company. No other models which are there which gives you the exact amount of dividend to be paid by the company. They were just telling you that what are the factors which affect the dividend. They were just telling you that what are the actions, corporate actions which are affecting the dividend. But they were not able to establish a clear cut mathematical relationship between the variables to find the dividend per share. But Mr. Linter did it, right? So that is the Linter's model which will give you the dividend per share amount. So what is the dividend payout ratio? So dividend payout ratio is nothing but the dividend per share divided by EPS. So in this case, if dividend per share is 6 and EPS is 10, that means 60% is the dividend payout ratio. Okay, sir, why did we do that? Because dividend payout ratio, EPS, retained earning, dividend per share, this everything will be useful to us in these models. Now, pricing and valuation of the securities are based on two thoughts of schools. One school of thought is, sorry, two schools of thoughts. One school of thought is where the professors and the finance experts believe that dividend matters. How and exactly up to what extent they matter, that we will come to know once we will go into the exact details of those models. But they are the people who believes that dividend matters, right? And another school of thought says that dividend does not matter at all. So whatever the amount of dividend you pay, that does not affect the market value of the firm. That should not affect, because they have some logical understanding about the dividend too. Now both are correct, both will be appropriate in their assumptions. Which one will be applicable more, which one is to be followed by the company, that we are going to decide later on. Okay, those who says that dividend is relevant and important, and which is important for as far as pricing or valuation of the security is concerned, they are the people. In first one, it is traditional model, that is Graham and Dodd model. After that, there is a Walter model, then there is a Gordon's model, and the person who says that dividend does not matter at all is Modigliani and Miller model. Now, what is the argument on which these models are built? Okay, the traditional model says that more weight, more importance to be given to the dividend as compared to the retained earnings. So that is the argument given by the Graham and Dodd model, and based on that, the mathematical model is established. Then there is a Walter. Walter says that two factors matters. One is dividend payout ratio, and another one is relationship between cost of equity and R. R stands for the rate of return expectations of the company from its investments. कंपनी की इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के ऊपर से रेट ऑफ रिटर्न की एक्सपेक्टेशंस क्या है, तो ये दोनों फैक्टर को मिला के वोल्टर मॉडल बनता है. फिर तीसरा जो मॉडल है गॉर्डन मॉडल. गॉर्डन मॉडल ये कहते हैं, उनका बेसिक फंडामेंटल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये है पीछे का, कि जितने भी फ्यूचर में इनकम होने वाली है डिविडेंड में, उस सभी को डिस्काउंट कर दो. सभी को डिस्काउंट कर दो मतलब कि उस सभी का प्रेजेंट वैल्यू निकाल दो. सो जितना भी डिविडेंड्स आप पे करने वाले हो फ्यूचर में, उस सभी का अगर आप प्रेजेंट वैल्यू निकाल देते हो, सो दैट इज नथिंग बट द वैल्यूएशन ऑफ दैट शेयर, because that is the exact benefit which shareholders are going to get in the future. So that is based on discounting of future earning. Modi-Gilani Miller approach, which says that dividend does not affect at all as far as the valuation of these shares are concerned, it is based on arbitrage effect. Now, arbitrage effect, I will let you know once we will go into that model. Okay. Now, in this every models, we would be requiring the cost of equity. Now, how do we find the cost of equity? To find the cost of equity, there are various other models as well, because cost of equity is nothing but the expectations of the shareholders. Now, shareholders are thousands, lakhs, crores in numbers. No one can go and ask to the shareholders, that what is your expectation, and accordingly we can build a model. No. So that's why this mathematical models were built by the finance professors and by the experts of the finance, so that we can know that what is the expectations of shareholders, because expectations of shareholders will be different from company to company, right? छगनलाल लिमिटेड के पास से एक्सपेक्टेशन कम होगी, रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज के पास से एक्सपेक्टेशंस ज्यादा हो सकती है. किसके पास ज्यादा होगी, किसके पास कम होगी, उसके लिए अलग अलग वेरिएबल्स है. तो वहां पे भी मॉडल्स किया है. एक सबसे पहला कॉस्ट ऑफ इक्विटी फाइंड करने का मॉडल है, वो है सीएपीएम, कैपिटल असेट प्राइसिंग मॉडल. देन गॉर्डन्स मॉडल इज देयर, or we can call it as dividend yield model. Then there is long term bond yield model. Then there is earning growth approach, and the last one is arbitrage pricing theory. Arbitrage pricing theory also gives you the expectations of the equity shareholders after taking various variables into account, right? So these are the various models that we are going to study in the second module. I have given you the brief idea, bird's eye view of all the models. Now you must be at least clear about that. Why did you do that in your corporate finance or in some other subjects where you were doing this? Conceptual understanding is more important. Interpretation of the modeling is more important. Analytics is more important as compared to doing it, in a maths. Because if I give you a formula, you don't know that where it should be applied, what is the logic behind it, in what circumstances it should be applied, on what assumptions this model is built. तो फिर वो क्या, उसका मतलब ही नहीं रहा ना बेटा. वो तो फिर मैथमेटिक्स तो कोई भी पांचवे छठी वाला बच्चा भी सॉल्व कर देगा. Is there any query? Now, I have done the rapid fire revision as well. Any query, anything which you want to understand in a better manner, where you require that, sir, I didn't get your point over there. Let me know. From the next lecture onwards, I will go into the very minute details of each and every model. So first model that we are going to start tomorrow would be the Volter model, and then we'll go to some other models. Clear? Entire valuation of the shares is clear. There is nothing left aside now. Whatever the models which are built by any professors in any part of the world, in any corner of the world, are taken into account in this entire brief picture. Anyone? Has everyone got it? Bhavya? Chandni?
Yes, sir.
Ishita? Leela? Sneha?
Yes, sir.
Viraj?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you very much. If you want to take a snap of it, please take the snap. Else I will end this lecture. Is if anyone want to take a snap of it. This is K, cost of equity कैसे find करना उसका है ये. Then these are the various models. Now some people would be like, सर इतना गंदा लिखा है, स्नैप लेके भी क्या करेंगे, वैसे भी कुछ समझ में आने वाला नहीं है. तो कोई बात नहीं, मत लो. तो मैं कहाँ पे फोर्स कर रहा हूँ. Okay, so just give me a 1 minute and then I will take the attendance and then you may leave the class.